Today, 21st of February 1999. Last week we studied about ahara. Yeah, it's 4 kinds of ahara, 4 kinds of foods. Number 1 is the Kamalikara ahara. Kamalikara ahara, edible food. For number 2, Pasahara. Number 3, Mano Sanchedanahara. Number 4, Vinyanahara. So number 2, 3, 4, these 3 kind of ahara is the mental food. It's mental food. This is Pasahara here. Pasahara, contact or sense impact. We need that. Because this pasa, contact, sustain and produce the 5 kinds of feelings. So to be able to get a good feeling, we go to somewhere for what? For eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, even sometimes mind contact. And then you get a good feeling, right? It's the eye contact. Because this eye contact does sustain and produce the 5 kinds of feeling. We need the good feeling. This pleasant feeling. Like we go to the show, go to the cinema, watch the TV. For what? For pleasure, right? For pleasant feeling. This is pasa, right? This pasa, when the visible object good, the visible object contact with your eye, and then produce good feeling, pleasant feeling. For this pleasant feeling, get this good feeling, and we find the good visible object. The same way for a sound. The sound is a contact with our ear sensitivity, right? And then, this good sound. This is a beautiful sound, something like that. And you have good feeling, pleasant feeling. And for the nose, for the taste, you think about that, right? For the body, for the tangible object, just from contact. Because of our next chapter, when we study about dependent origination, we will see that because of contact, as the feelings arises. Because of feeling, as the clinging arises. Because of clinging, a karma formation arises. Because of karma formation and rebirth arises. Because of rebirth and aging, death, sorrow, lamentation, or pain, or grief, or despair, and so on. All kind of, this suffering will occur. That's why this pasa, or the 5 kind of feeling, is made the process of our aggregate lasts so long in cycle of rebirth, samsara. That's why pasa is one kind of ahara. Because it's the cause of feeling, right? Here, ahara, they have different meaning, right? Ahara, because the nutriment or cause or sustenance, here as the cause of feeling. reproduce feeling. And when you practice meditation, we need to contemplate on this feeling. Feeling, just feeling, otherwise become craving. If you become craving, we're going to stop that. And clinging, or so on, right? So we will study it later. Number 3, Mano Sanchedana Ahara, volitional activities. You know the Phassa. Phassa, or number 2, Phassa is the universal mental factor, right? Can associate all consciousness. The Mano Sanchedana Ahara is reality is a Chetana. Normally Chetana also can associate with all consciousness, but here Chetana here just the Chetana is the present in immoral and moral consciousness 29, just 29. So immoral consciousness 12, right? Or moral consciousness here, just mundane, or moral consciousness as the sense sphere, moral consciousness 8, sublime, moral consciousness 9. So 12 plus 8, 20, 20 plus 9, 29. Right, just Chetana associated with this 29 type of consciousness are called Mano Sanchedana Ahara. This Mano Sanchedana Ahara, volition activities sustain and produce rebirth in a sense sphere, a form sphere, and formless sphere. That's why Chetana here, we just taking from this 29 kind of type of consciousness. It's not all consciousness. So when we do the meritorious deed, what Chetana? Moral, immoral? Immoral, right? Immoral. So if immoral, this Chetana associated with immoral consciousness, this volition activity will sustain and produce what kind of rebirth? It's the meritorious state. What kind of rebirth? Yeah. The lower state, right? The woeful state for abhaya. For woeful state, maybe hell, an animal, kingdom, or hungry ghost, or demon, or asura, right? For their rebirth consciousness, what are they? For the who be reborn as the lower state, their rebirth consciousness, Santirana, right? Santirana, investigating consciousness, right? Investigating consciousness is accompanied with the indifferent feeling, right? Santirana, ubekha sagata, Santirana citta. You're right. So, this immoral volitional activity is the produce rebirth in the lower rank, the woeful state. For a moral consciousness in sense sphere, moral consciousness 8, right? Sense sphere, moral consciousness 8. If this volitional activity, this Chetana associated with the sense sphere moral consciousness, is we produce what kind of rebirth? A, right? A, or we can, and 9. In the rootless consciousness 1, still have 1, right? There is certain consciousness, Santirana 2, right? We have two kinds of Santirana. One is the called immoral resultant consciousness. Another one we call moral resultant consciousness. Right? And in Kamachara Vipaka, sense sphere resultant consciousness 8, have 9. So produce 9 kind of rebirth. If it's the rebirth consciousness is Sandirana investigating consciousness, that person is not just blind, as the since takes concept, right? It's the motor worm, it's the blind, the deaf, the dumb, and another is as a deva, it's low deva. In our world, we have the like divine. It's not in heaven. Start with slow deva. For the karma jara vipaka 8, so like us, one of those, right? So this volitional activity in moral sense sphere, moral consciousness produce rebirth in human world and celestial world, right? Sentient sphere. We can call it the blissful sentient sphere. Human world and 6 celestial world. 7, right? 7. So the woeful state 4 is together 11 what we call. Look at the 31 plane of existence. See that, right? Yeah. Human world and 6 celestial world. Yeah. Essential, blissful plane. Yeah, this for a sense sphere wholesome consciousness. We produce rebirth in human world and 6 celestial world. For a Chetana, which is associated with form sphere wholesome consciousness 5, they will produce rebirth in form sphere plane, right? Of form sphere. See that, right? How many form sphere we have? Now, form sphere Rupa Vajra, 16. 16. Yeah, 16. So 16. The produce rebirth and form sphere 16. Volitional activity here is Chetana, what is associated with formless sphere, wholesome consciousness 4, will produce rebirth in formless sphere 4. Right? According to this karma, according to these volitional activities, can be reborn one kind of existence is the 31 plane of existence. It depends. That's what most people say that rebirth after death, something like that. After we die, or when we have to be reborn again, something like that. Depend on this Chetana. Right? It depends on if immoral, if Chetana associated with immoral consciousness, should be low plane, the woeful state. is if this Chetana actually with the sense sphere, wholesome consciousness will be reborn in human world and celestial world. Right? If you do some meritorious deed, maybe generosity, or maybe morality, or maybe meditation, something like that. If you gain jhana, will be reborn if you gain jhana. Your jhana, if you join your jhana, if as you wish the 5 kind of just form sphere wholesome consciousness, if you gain first jhana, you'll be reborn as the first jhana plane. Right? That's why this jhana produce rebirth in form sphere, the first jhana plane. If you gain second jhana, third jhana, you will be reborn as the second jhana plane. Right? If you gain the fourth jhana, you will be reborn as the third jhana plane. If you gain the fifth jhana, you will be reborn as the fourth jhana plane. Or depend on just the jhana. That's why here, Mano, Sanjidana, Hara, Jhana here sustain or produce rebirth in 3 spheres. So when you gain Arupa Jhana, you'll be reborn as Arupa plane, formless sphere. See that, right? It's not mentioned about Magga here, right? Magga. Because Magga is to be eradicates the rebirth. Right? It's not to produce rebirth. That's why we just taking 29 moral and immoral consciousness here. Sankhara and Chetana depend on the context. Chetana and Sankhara sometimes the same, some different. For example, in dependent origination, the Buddha said, avijja paccaya sankhara, dependent on ignorance, right? Arise sankhara, this means arise volitional activities. This sankhara is Chetana the same. For avijja paccaya sankhara and Chetana the same. Some Buddha said, Sabbe sankhara anicca. See that, right? Sabbe sankhara anicca. All conditioned things are impermanent. Sankhara, this conditioned thing, is not only Chetana. This sankhara here, whole mind and matter. See that, right? All consciousness, all mental state, all material properties are called sankhara. See that, right? So depend on the context. It's not only some same, some different. And some in Yamaka Pali they call Kaya Sankhara, something like that. This Sankhara, just the breath, is called Sankhara. So that's why we need to study that, right? But here, Chetana here is Sankhara the same. That's why we need to know their realities. Otherwise, we don't know how to different, right? Now we know that the Mano, Sanjidana, Ahara is the reality here, Chetana. You see that Chetana. And when we study avijja paccaya sankhara, the sankhara is really also Chetana, which are the same. Some sankhara is not only Chetana, all consciousness, all mental state, all the rupa matter. Yes, Sankhara is different.
But Chetna always could be the same as the Sankhara, even though Sankhara could be different. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? No. That's okay. I'll ask it later.
Okay. And number 4 is the Vijnana. Vijnanahara. Vijnanahara is the rebirth consciousness. Right? Vijnana is the mind, is consciousness. With consciousness we have 121, right? But here, rebirth consciousness. How many one? 19. Just 19 rebirth consciousness. For a sense sphere, how many rebirth consciousness? 2 Sandirana, investigating consciousness, right? And 8 Kamajara Vipaka, resultant consciousness. 10, right? 10. And Rupajara, resultant consciousness. 5. Arupajara, the formless sphere, resultant consciousness. 4. So all 19. So here's the Vijnana, he is just taking 19 this rebirth consciousness. Is reality here is Chitta, see that right? Just Chitta, but Chitta just only taking 19 kind of rebirth consciousness. This Vijnana rebirth consciousness sustains a mental state and material phenomena which arise simultaneously. Briefly, you can see this Vijnana sustains the Nama and Rupa. Nama here is not means consciousness, right? When the linking consciousness, rebirth consciousness take place, this rebirth consciousness for animal. Dear rebirth consciousness, Sandirana, right? Sandirana. Unwholesome resultant consciousness, investigating consciousness. When this Ubekha Sandirana Chitta arises, how many mental states associated with this Sandirana? 10. 10. So briefly, think like this. We have universal consciousness, 7. Right? And you got Pakinaka, Chitasika. This occasional mental state, 6. 7 plus 6, 13, right? This 13 are called miscellaneous consciousness. Miscellaneous consciousness 13. Among 13, exclude chanda, desire, piti, joy, and virya, effort. Excluding 3, remaining 10. So this 10 mental states associated with this Sandirana, rebirth consciousness. See that right? Excluding chanda, piti, virya. Miscellaneous mental state, 10. So this Vijnana, Sandirana, rebirth consciousness sustains how many mental states? 10. Right? 10. Therefore, in the case of Arupa, who will be reborn is the formless sphere. Do they have rupa? No, formless, no material phenomena, just nama. Nama here just a Chaitasika mental state. So how many mental state? When arupa certain formless sphere, certain consciousness, four, right? For when they arise, how many mental state associated with that consciousness? 30. So we already studied chapter 2, right? Just 30. It's not important here. You will review by yourself, right, later on. Just 30. This means, in the case of this arupa, rebirth consciousness is sustained just only the mental state, no rupa, right, no rupa. But in the case of for a sense sphere, blissful, the human world and celestial world, and rupa, 15 form sphere, both nama and rupa. When this rebirth consciousness takes place, simultaneously, mental state and materialist phenomena arise together. Rise together. Because only mind can arise, only mind. When the one mind, one consciousness arise, they have their concomitants, right? Rise together. And when rebirth consciousness arises, not only just the mental state, but also material properties give rise. It's not all 28. We already studied about decade, right? So kaya dadaka, body decade, right? Bhava daska, sex decade, and hariya daska, heart decade. 3 decades, just the rupa, right, arise together with rebirth consciousness. Do you remember that when we study chapter 6? In our mother womb, we have stick of Padisani, rebirth consciousness. And then 3 decades and mental state arise together with rebirth consciousness. That's why this vijnana, rebirth consciousness here, if kamavajara, resultant consciousness, or rupavajara, resultant consciousness arise, they sustain the mental state and material phenomena. So, briefly, just remember ahara here, nutriment or food or cause. Here, gambalikara ahara here, edible food, sustains and produces the material's body. Make your God, survive, have long life. And phassa, contact here, is the sustain the 5 kind of feelings. This means they produce the feelings. And manosanchirana ahara here, a volition activity, they sustain and produce rebirth in the 31 plane of existence. And vijnana, rebirth consciousness here, sustain mental state and material phenomena, which arise simultaneously. So briefly, I would like all of you to remember that. Now go to the note here. Last week we studied about Jananga, or Makanga, or Bala, or Indriya, Adipati. When we taking their reality, it's not like we studied at chapter 2, right? So why we take their reality is the different with the chapter 2. So we study today, like here, Ekakata, one pointedness of mind, right? Ekakata and Ubekha, Vedana is the indifferent feeling. You already know that, right? Here, this Ekakata and Ubekha Vedana, not Jananga. Not Jananga is mean, Jananga is the Jana factor, right? Jana factor. It's not Jananga in Dvi Panja Vijnana, the 5 sense impression. We have 2 eye consciousness, 2 ear consciousness, 2 nose consciousness, 2 tongue consciousness, 2 body consciousness. We call Dvi Panja Vijnana. Right? That's why when we taking Ekakata here, Ekakata, one pointedness of mind, this Cetasika, this mental state, normally associated with all kind of consciousness, the universal mental state, right? But when we study Jananga, 7 Jananga,